Hey there, and welcome back to Common Knowledge, the show where I take a look at 10 common Magic the Gathering cards, tell you if they're any good in the Pauper format or not. Let's get started with our first card. See some commons. This is always fun. That's why I made the channel. Dead Reckoning is 1 in double black for a sorcery. You may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. If you do, Dead Reckoning deals damage equal to that card's power to target creature. It's not great. I mean, it is kind of cool that you're almost getting this reverse Pulse of Marasa in a way that you're still returning a creature. I really don't like that it goes on top of my library because it's not that it ruins your draw for next turn because, hey, you get to draw the creature that you just put up there. But, if I'm paying 3 mana, I kind of want the card to go to my hand. And then I can draw a new card next turn that potentially furthers my game plan. So going to the top of the library, I mean, Time Ebb is an effect that we use against opponents' creatures because it's so nice to be able to put to screw up their draws and to put a creature on top of their library. I don't really want to Time Ebb myself. The other part of it's okay though. You can imagine that you use like a Swamp Cycling on Troll of Khazad-dûm, and then you play Dead Reckoning to bring that troll back to the top of your library later in the game, where you might now be able to play the troll. Or if you need to fix again, you can always just Swamp Cycle it again. But you also do a ton of damage to a creature. Troll's 6 or 7. I'm pretty sure Troll is 6. It's 6, yeah. So 6 damage to a creature, that kills lots of good stuff. For 3 mana, killing, a Gurmag Angler, I guess. A Boulder Branch Golem. For 6, you're hitting like Brambleworms at that point. Like that's significant damage. It can only do it to creature. That's a bummer. If it could do it to face, that could be really good. But that's a shame. Anyway, I think there's a lot to like about this card, but I think it has enough downsides that I can't give it like a full-throated endorsement. 3 mana to get back a guy is not great, and for that guy to go back on the top of your library is really bad. But the damage part does mitigate it somewhat, and I'm kind of in this weird middle ground with it. I think I'm going to give it like a 3.5. I think this is pretty good without being really good. What do we got next? Orochi Sustainer. Have we done this one before? I don't think so. I think we've done some other Kamigawa. There's another mana dork in Kamigawa. Orochi Sustainer is 1 and a green for a 1/2 Snake Shaman. It can tap for a green. So it's a worse land war elf. But I guess if you need snakes or you need shamans or you really need that extra point of toughness, no, you can do better than Orochi Sustainer. This is not particularly good. I mean, it's fine. It's a mana dork, but we have better mana dorks that are more typal. You want these things to be elves because they go in the elves deck, and Sustainer just isn't that. I think we can go for a 2.5. I mean, it's fine. I don't hate it, but I'd go a little lower, maybe 2.3. Filthy Cur, that's what they call me. 1 and a black for a 2/2 dog. Whenever this creature is dealt damage, you lose that much life. So it's kind of like a jackal pup in that way. A grizzly bear that hurts you when it takes damage. Not great. I think black just has grizzly bears at this point, right? There has to be. We can check this out. Let's go for a black. Let's go for a creature. Let's go for a 2 mana, and let's say its power is 2, and its toughness is 2, and I think we could look anywhere, but I'm specifically interested in the Pauper format because that's what we do here. What do we got? Wait, what? Oh, I didn't say equal to. There you go. I'm like, why are there all these 1/1s on here? Equal to. There you go. Yeah, so that's kind of what I remember. Bailmerk Leech, that's just a positive effect. Like we just have better 2/2s at this point. Douthie Slayer that well, I guess you have to attack each turn available, but that just can't be blocked. That's great. Oh yeah, all these 2 mana lifelinkers. We got this one, and then there's the elf one from Lorwyn Eclipse. Where's that guy? Where is that guy? Is he further down? Yeah, there he is, Scarblade Scout. So we have plenty of 2 mana 2/2s Grizzly Bears now that with upside in the Pauper format and in any format really. That this is really bad. It's I gotta end up giving this a 1, especially because it loses that much life. If it was damage, maybe you could do something with that of preventing damage or redirecting damage, but it's much tougher to redirect loss of life. So this is really bad. It's a great name. It's a great name, but it's a 1. This is a bad Magic card. Putrid Cyclops is 2 and a black for a 3/3 zombie Cyclops. When this creature enters, scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library. This creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is that card's mana value. This creature, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, I guess we're just going through a bunch of black cards that aren't really good anymore. I think we also just have 3 mana 3/3s at this point with no downside. I mean, this isn't totally a downside. You do get to scry, so you get to at least have some kind of card selection. Problem is, if the card is a 3 mana value or higher card that you want, then this thing's just gonna die. So that's not particularly great. I like Future Sight, and I like all the silly stuff that got brought in with Future Sight, and I like that we've continued to take some of those ideas and bring them into future Magic sets. Future Cyclops, never got a reprint. You can tell this is not necessarily one of the good ones. Now, man, if you'd probably have to pay a little bit more, but if you could make target opponent's creature gets -XX until end of turn, where that's the mana value, that could be cool. That could be cool, but I think that would cost at least 4 at that point. No, this one's also pretty bad. I'm gonna give this a 1.1. I guess. We've definitely done Surveillant Elves, right? Maybe not. Single green mana for a 1/1 elf. You can pay 2 green, or green, sorry. Tap and destroy target aura attached to a land. That's pretty darn narrow, isn't it? I mean, I guess it stops Utopia Sprawls and Wild Growths. And I suppose if your opponent puts some kind of aura on your land, you could destroy that. That's so narrow. I mean, it's a 1. I'm pretty sure we've done it before. I'm gonna just not count it, but this is a 1. Pretty easy. So narrow. Glimpse the Impossible. This is a pretty good card. Glimpse the Impossible is 2 and a red for a sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. At the beginning of the next end step, if any of those cards remain exiled, put them into your graveyard. Then create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token for each card put into your graveyard this way. Those tokens have sacrifice this token to add a colorless. That's a lot of text on one card, but it is all pretty darn good. I mean, it's from Modern Horizons 3, so you kind of already know it's pretty darn good. 3 mana for 3 potential cards is already great. That's not bad at all. But then the idea that even if you don't play those cards, you get something out of it, and now you're getting ramp. So let's say you play this, you can't play any of the cards, you still get 3 little guys, 3 0/1s that can ramp you up or ritual you up for a different turn or the same turn, I suppose. So the card kind of pays you back, but now with bodies. So you're paying 3 mana, you make 3 guys. Those 3 guys can sacrifice themselves for 3 mana. That's essentially free. But you also get the card advantage, the card selection. I mean, this is advantage of getting to play those cards this turn. It is this turn, not until the next turn, which some of these cards say. But that's still really good. You get some new cards that you can potentially play. And it is say play, so it lands you can also play out of it. It doesn't say cast. And then anything you don't play, you get spawn tokens out of. This is really cool. This gets played. If you want to play this in a deck that's real, This gets played in the Red Storm or the Gruul Storm, whatever people call it. I used to call it Ruby Storm, and somebody's like, "There's no rubies in it." Like, you know what? That's a fair point. I guess this is Red or Gruul Storm, depending on what you want to call it. But this is a really good card in there, especially when you're able to make this cost cheaper by reducing the Goblin, not Electromancer. That's blue and red, but the green one, whatever it is. That can reduce your red spells by 1. So now you're netting mana by playing this and getting a bunch of cards that you can potentially play. Like there's some really cool stuff that you can do with this. What I kind of like it for is a different Gruul deck, and I don't. There have to be enough pieces to make this deck at this point, and maybe it's just not good enough. Maybe Gruul Ramp is better, or the Gruul Storm is better, and so we just don't find a reason to play this. But I think you could do some kind of Impact Tremors deck, Leonardo Tough Turtle, actual Impact Tremors. If you're going into Gruul, which I think you should be, you can do Malevolent Rumbles, which can also grab you cards and make these spawn tokens. You can play Brood Birthing, which gives you a bunch of spawn tokens. You can get Nest Invader or Eldrazi Repurposer that make you some of these spawn tokens as they come in. And you can kind of just keep chaining these things. And then, of course, Writhing Chrysalis is your top end. That makes 2 of these spawns, and it's also just an incredible card. And because you're making all these other spawns, that thing gets even bigger based on sacrificing these guys. So I think there is something that you can do of just pinging the opponent to death with all of your little Eldrazi spawns coming into play, but then also having some of these pretty massive creatures like the Writhing Chrysalis. And then you can certainly have the Nyxborn Hydra as your top end, I suppose, or even put the Nyxborn Hydra on a Writhing Chrysalis. I think there's a cool deck there, and I guess it's probably just not quite as good as normal Gruul Ramp, but man, it seems pretty good. Anyway, this is a really good card for that deck, but it does see play in a number of other spots, and it's just a solid card with some really cool art as well. Let's give this thing a 6.4. Good card. Probably the best card we'll see today, but maybe not. The next card we're seeing is Viashino Runner, which is 3 and a red for a 3/2 lizard with menace. It's a hill giant that's lost a point of toughness, but it gains menace instead. That seems not great. Yeah, that seems not great. I'm going to give this just a straight up 2. I think a hill giant's a 2, so I guess this is better than a hill giant most of the time. I'll give this a 3.2, which I guess is its power and toughness. That was not necessarily a planned, but that's what I'm doing. Kodotha Ringleader is 4 and a red for a 4/4 giant berserker with battle cry. Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. I'm pretty sure this is our first battle cry creature that we've seen. And this creature attacks each combat if able. So you got to attack with it, which you want to, because it gets you the battle cry, but also it gives the opponent an opportunity to block and kill this guy, so you can't get battle cry on subsequent turns. I don't know if it's necessarily balanced like that. I mean, it's balanced. It's a balanced card. It's not even a great card, but it's an interesting trade. 5 mana for a 4/4. Not amazing. But a 5 mana 4/4 that also buffs all your other guys. That's kind of what is it called? Goblin. It's not Goblin Sledder. Goblin. It's the Goblin guy that gives all your guys +1/+0 when it comes into play. But that card sees some play. This card doesn't. 5 mana is just so much, especially in red, where you kind of just need to play a lot faster. There are red decks that play a big mana. We just talked about some with Gruul Ramp, but I don't think they want this either. It's fine. It's fine, but you can do better than this. I will give this a 2.6. Wall of Fire, man. This is pretty good art, but if we're doing Wall of Fire, come on, man. It's the OGs. Like, look at these. we've had some pretty cool Wall of Fires. Wall of Fire is not very good. It's a 3 mana, or 1 and a double red for a 0/5 wall with Defender. Can't attack. That's what walls do. And then you can also have Fire breathing on it. You can pay a red, and this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Sure, it blocks a lot of stuff, and with the Fire breathing, it can potentially kill a lot of stuff. But if your opponent's just not going to swing into this, which I guess is kind of the point. You're happy if your opponent doesn't swing in, because then you don't have to spend the mana or block anyway. But it's not really good. 3 mana to put a wall up. It's a little slow for a wall. If you are going to play walls, you want your walls to cost 1 or 2, so you can get them on the board early and start blocking the little stuff that they can definitely block, and then potentially block the middle and late game things as the game goes on. Putting this down on turn 3, you feel like you kind of missed out on some of the points of damage you should have been blocking against, white weenies or red decks or any other deck that can play a 1-drop creature. You're already kind of losing out a little bit. It's fine. It's a classic, but it's not good. It hasn't really seen any play for a very long time, and I don't know if it ever really saw play. It's a great card though. It's man, is this in my whiteboarder cube? It's probably not. I probably had to make some real decisions on which walls I wanted to put in. I don't want to put a lot of walls in, and I think if for my whiteboarder cube, wall of stone is the one I probably ended up using more. Not this one. I know it's whiteboarder, but that's not my wall of stone. This is my wall of stone that I had growing up. But this wall of stone is also pretty good. But this is the one that I had, and I think this is the one that's in my deck. 0/8 for a 3 mana 0/8. It sounds a little bit better of a wall than a 3 mana 0/5. Even though I think I'd say Wall of Fire is better than Wall of Stone. But they're both not very good. Score wise for this, did I give it a score? I don't think I did. It's like a 2.3. Kind of hurts me to say that, but I think it is a 2.3. Next up, Villagers of Estwald is 2 and a green for a 2/3 human werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells are cast this turn, transform this creature into Howlpack of Estwald, which is a 4/6 werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform this creature back into the 2/3. This is Daybound and Nightbound, but without the words Daybound and Nightbound, so at least when this thing dies, you don't have to keep track of Daybound Nightbound anymore. It's still not very good. Like, this is just a 3 mana vanilla 2/3 that can occasionally turn into a vanilla 4/6. 3 mana for a 4/6 is pretty good, but I don't like leaving things in the opponent's hands where they can double spell and then switch it back to a 2/3, and it just, I don't think this ever feels good to me. I don't like these cards. I really don't, especially something that's as vanilla as this. That I don't know if this thing had vigilance because it's got the bigger toughness, or if it had first strike or something. Maybe. But as it is, this is just not nearly good enough of a card. I will give this a 2.2. Worse than the Wall of Fire, in my opinion. Rebel Belt Braggart is 4 and a red for a 5/5 Lizard Warrior. When this creature attacks, if it's not suspected, you may suspect it. A suspected creature has menace and can't block. Suspect's kind of an interesting mechanic. Murders of Karlov Manor, we all did not particularly like that set, but I think there's some cool stuff in it, and I think Suspect is one of the more interesting keywords mechanics that showed up in there. 5 mana 5/5, kind of whatever. I like that at least when it comes down, it's still able to block that turn. So I put down this 5/5. It doesn't have haste or anything, so it's just sitting there. And so it's better than it being suspected when it comes into play, because then it wouldn't be able to block. So it can at least scare your opponent to not attack, and then the next turn you can decide to attack with it, and then it gets menace. And then it can't block at all for the rest, but that's fine because now you're probably just going to keep attacking with it because it's a 5/5 with menace. That part's all okay. I think this is a really cool limited card, potentially even a cube card if you build your cube in like a really underpowered way that could be a lot of fun. But it's when we're talking about the Pauper format, this just doesn't cut it at all. Love the art, love this guy's little face, but yeah, it's not really that good. I think it's a 2.6. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Maybe just a 2.5. Johnny's Mantra is 1 and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain a life. That's so simple. It's so clean. It's not very good. 1 life every turn. If it was every upkeep, maybe that could be cool, but that would be twice as good as what this card is. A life at every one of your upkeeps. I mean, it would stack up the longer the game goes on, obviously. And if you have some kind of a Johnny's Pride Mate like creature, not a Johnny's Pride Mate, that's not legal in Pauper for some reason. But, if you're playing Abzan, you've got the Pest mascot. Okay, you're getting a guaranteed counter every turn. I think you just have better ways of gaining life, more repeatable ways of gaining life. And you should use those instead. Like campfire. Yeah, you'd have to keep paying for the campfire, but you get twice as much life as you would from this thing. Food tokens. Like there's all sorts of creatures that Soul Sister style creatures that will gain life when creatures come into play. And I think you can build your deck around those things to get more of those triggers than rather than having to wait around and go, well, I'm waiting for my 1 life. And also, you play this on turn 2. You've done nothing else that turn. You didn't affect your opponent in any way, and this only starts to trigger on the beginning of your turn 3. It's really bad. This is like the definition of a trap. You should not play this card. I will give this a 1.1. It's quite terrible. We skipped one card. I think we'll do a bonus card. This will be the last card. Forest Bear. Hell yeah. From Portal 3 Kingdoms, where it is a $25 card. But for Mystery Booster 2, it's 79 cents. Let's read it first. It's Forest Bear is 1 and a green for a 2/2 bear. It literally is a grizzly bear, but just with a new printing. New name, new printing. But because it's from Portal 3 Kingdoms, and it's hard to get a hold of, this shouldn't be this expensive. This has to only be expensive because people like bears, and some people have made bear commander decks and things like that, and this is another copy of Grizzly Bear in the same way that something like Grizzly Cub is another copy of Grizzly Bear that you can put in those decks. It's cute. It's cute. But now that there's this Mystery Booster 2 version, which, God, look at this incredible art, and now you've zoomed it in and made it bigger on the card, gave it the Future Sight frame. I have a copy of this, the Mystery Booster one, and it's fantastic. What a fantastic thing. It's not good. Certainly not good, but it is a fantastic thing. I have said many times on the show, a Grizzly Bear gets a 2. Forest Bear also gets a 2. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next one.